Honestly, OpenClaw is the worst tool I've used this month. So why do I feel like it might win in the long term? So after playing with OpenClaw for about a month, here's my honest hot take. When you first hear about it, it sounds like it's this powerful plug and play AI system, but the reality is it's very different. OpenClaw is still super early. It's not polished. It's still really early in its development, and it's definitely not for someone who isn't comfortable with even a little bit of technical setup. Now, when I say technical, I don't mean you need to know how to code. That's different. I mean, you need to be comfortable with doing things like setting up Zapier, using Make, handling basic APIs, maybe doing a little bit of setup work, because a lot of it is still hands-on. So for example, you still have to use command line for parts of the setup, and also when you have to change stuff. And there's something called a gateway, which is basically a core system running everything. The gateway crashes all the time. Sometimes you switch a model, it crashes. Sometimes you ask it to do something, it crashes. And then you have to go into the terminal, copy paste the command, and then you have to restart it manually. So yes, you can copy paste most of the terminal commands, but even then there's a lot of tinkering. You tweak something, it breaks. You fix it, it works again, and then something else needs to be adjusted. So it's not user-friendly right now. It's not something where you could just write one prompt and everything works perfectly. That doesn't exist here. At the same time, it's incredibly powerful, but only if you're willing to put in the time. And that's the real cost, time. Because a lot of these things are still not fully optimized. Logging isn't great. Memory isn't as long as it could be. Backups aren't solid. The scheduled cron jobs could be better implemented. So what ends up happening is you start building on top of it. You have to add extra modules, prompts. You basically have to teach it how to improve itself. For example, I set up a daily security review. So every day it checks its own system and gives recommendations. I also set up something like an innovation scout where it goes online, researches, and suggests ways to improve its own OpenClaw instance. You ask OpenClaw to create it, and then you refine it. So there's a lot of layering. Now, if you're semi-technical and okay with trial and error, this is an amazing tool for you. But you also have to be realistic. This is not for someone who just wants something simple. I know people have gone deep into OpenClaw. For example, this one guy I know basically spent 2 months locked into his room, barely went out, and customizing his OpenClaw. His OpenClaw setup is insanely good. It can send iMessages, it has its own phone, it can do all this stuff. But that's the level of time it takes to do it right now. The good news is that this space is moving super fast and things are moving really, really quickly. And there are already alternatives coming up like NanoClaw, NemoClaw. So it's not guaranteed that OpenClaw will be the one that wins. But it does have strong GitHub traction and a huge community, thousands and thousands of developers, which means it has a good chance to becoming a default standard, but we just don't know. Right now, it's more of a framework than a finished product. Whether it stays that way or evolves into something more polished, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, I'm curious, if you had access to something this powerful, but it required this much effort, would you use it? Or would you still prefer something simpler and more stable? I'm pivoting my company to help business owners run their business with a human chief of staff that manages your people, but also helps manage AI agents like OpenClaw. If you're looking for an all-in-one business operator, DM me.